While the Tigers have lost 4 in a row, they will send one of their big guns to the mound tonight. Edwin Jackson will get the start for the Tigers. He is going for his 3rd consecutive win and his 13th win of the season. Jackson will take on the Blue Jays tonight on an absolutely beautiful night for baseball. We're in downtown Detroit, Comerica Park, the site. Game 2 in this 4-game series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us for the 2nd game of the series. Tigers trying to rebound after losing the ball game last night. In the loss, though, they did have 12 hits, and it seems the Tigers lineup is really starting to solidify a little bit, Rod, especially with the return of Carlos Guillen to the lineup. The 2 spot and the 4 spot, they've been awfully good.
Well, I know David Dombrowski and also Jim Leland thought the offense would perk up a little bit. When you get back a guy that's made 3 All-Star teams, which Carlos Guillen has done, and you slot him in that number 3 spot right after Polanco and right ahead of Cabrera, those 2 are going to get lots of pitches to hit. Polanco, of course, bats second with Guillen behind him. That's a nice guy to protect you. Polanco has taken off 305 since the return of Carlos. And then you got Miguel. When Miguel gets a chance to bat in the very first inning, which he does a lot of, when Carlos is in the lineup, good things happen. He drives in lots of runs.
All right, now the Tigers have not lost more than 4 in a row at any point this season. They will try and not have that happen again tonight. One of the reasons is the pitching, obviously. Verlander's been great at stopping losing streaks. Likewise, Jackson, he's on the hill tonight.
Well, Jackson's just a beast, and he's one of those guys that's overpowering with his fastball, of course, anywhere from 95 to 98. He's got an outstanding slider and a really good changeup to go with that. And the sign of a true stopper is whatever a guy's numbers after a loss, and Jackson comes in 5-2 with a tremendous earned run average. He'll need to do as much today, especially against the first few hitters in this Toronto Blue Jays offense. They can really attack a fastball. He'll need to make adjustments on the fly this evening.
We expect him to do that tonight. Tigers have lost 4 of 5 in the season series against the Jays. Looking for a win here tonight to get back in the winning column in the Central Division. Well, Mr. Jackson's going to have to deal with the Toronto offense. The Blue Jay bats, they were booming last night. Stay with us. Tigers and Jays, Game 2 next. Time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast with over 10,000 on-demand choices, more than anyone. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. Back here at Comerica Park, Edwin Jackson and the Detroit Tigers about to take the field here tonight as the Tigers try and rebound from last night's loss, looking for their first win on this homestand. And Jackson may be the man to get it done here tonight for Detroit. And we'll check out the starting lineup for the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. It is presented tonight by the Romani Eye Institute. And it features Marco Scutaro leading off. He'll play shortstop. Aaron Hill had a big night last night. He is batting second, playing second. Vernon Wells in center field, followed by Lyle Overbay cleaning up tonight at first base. Rod Barajas will catch. Edwin Encarnacion is at third. Their bottom three tonight is Randy Ruiz, Travis Snyder, and Joe Ingles. Here is the Dodge scouting report on the right-hander, Edwin Jackson.
Well, Edwin may as well be the stopper here tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. He comes in 5-2 with a 2.39 earned run average following a Tigers loss. And the Tigers as a team has struggled against the East, but Edwin, he's been a beast. He is 3-1 with a 2.33 earned run average against the AL East, and probably the best offseason deal made of any of the ball clubs. Of course, Matt Joyce went to Tampa, and the Tigers got Edwin Jackson. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment this evening for Jim Leland. Behind Edwin Jackson, you've got Guillen, Granderson, and Thomas. In the outfield, Inge, Santiago, Polanco, Cabrera in the infield. Avila getting his first start in about the last 5 days. Gerald Laird finally with an evening off, and by now, you know, EJ is on the mound.
Yeah, and Edwin Jackson is searching for his third consecutive victory, getting a little bit more run support recently, and therefore he's gotten some wins. So we're ready for baseball here tonight as Marco Scutaro leads it off. It'll be Scutaro, then Hill, and then Vernon Wells. Got a gorgeous night for baseball here tonight. 73 degrees our game time temperature. Nice September evening here at the ballpark. Another nice crowd on hand here as well. Scutaro was 0 for 3 with 3 base on balls in the ball game last night. And the first pitch of the ball game. Strike called by Rick Reed, 0-1. Scutaro at 280, what a year he's had. He was 0 for 3 last night, but has 57 RBIs this year. And has done a terrific job in their leadoff slot. Jackson's fastball is up, and the count goes to 1-1.
And Scutaro finally getting a chance to play the same position all year long. In the past, he's been one of those guys that has kind of moved all over the diamond and done a very nice job at that.
There's a strike called, 1-2.
You talked about the 3 base on balls last night. He comes in with 88 total, which leads all middle infielders in all of baseball.
Jackson ready with a 1-2 pitch. And it's driven down the left field line, hooking, and that ball is a foul ball. Scutaro bidding for an extra base hit. And he'll go back to the batter's box.
It's going to be very important for Jackson to make some adjustments on the fly, depending on how this Toronto Blue Jays team jumps on his fastball. Of course, he's got a history against Toronto while he pitched for Tampa. He went up against this ball club quite often.
Alex Avila, the rookie behind the plate tonight for Detroit, giving Gerald Laird the night off. That missed inside, and the count evens now at 2-2. Edwin in search of his 13th win, a 12-6 record coming in. He faced the Blue Jays back in Toronto on April the 7th. Got a no decision despite pitching very well. That's lifted in the air toward left field. Carlos Guillen is there, and one gone.
Aaron Hill had 4 hits in the game last night, 3 bloop singles, but you'll take those any way you can get him. He's having a great year, and you can see when you put your head down and you think you've made it out and you end up on first base, that's a good day.
So the 4 hits last night for Hill, raising his batting average to .290 as he comes into play tonight. Jackson again delivers a strike, 0-1. Aaron Hill now is 7 for his last 12 at bats.
I'm surprised he took that first pitch fastball from Jackson at 94 right down the middle. Hill loves to swing at the first pitch and is a dead pull hitter. Not much to wind to deal with today for the outfielders. It's pretty calm
in a beautiful night here at Comerica Park. Stunning.
Last night, the wind was absolutely howling in. And may have saved a couple of home runs early for Nate Robertson. That's fouled back out of play. 1-2 on Hill. Talked about his power surge this year. The 31 home runs is most by an American League second baseman since, well, a few years back, 2005, when Alfonso Soriano hit 35 playing for Texas. The 31, a huge number by a second baseman. And he swings and misses, and Jackson gets his first strikeout. 2 gone. Well, in the Central, the Tigers leading Chicago by 6 and Minnesota by 6. The Twins lost today. Chicago is tied in the 9th inning in Anaheim.
The White Sox were winning that game, and Ozzie Guillen went to his closer, Bobby Jenks, in the 8th. Bobby was able to get out of that jam, but apparently did not fare so well in the 9th. One of the things that we talk about a lot of times, and that's why a lot of managers do not like to get their closer in the game in the 8th inning.
Yeah, that all seems to change in September. In the middle pennant races, managers will do things, and Jenks coming on early, and the Angels actually trying to win that game in the bottom of the 9th. Vernon Wells, the batter, with 2 outs. High pop up into center field, where Granderson is coming in, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Edwin Jackson. So we go to the bottom of the first. Still no score in this one. Presented by Big Boy. It's Curtis Granderson in center field. Placido Polanco at second base. Carlos Guillen hitting third and left. Cabrera cleans up. Aubrey Huff, the DH, followed by Clee Thomas. Your bottom 3 is Avila, Inge, and Santiago. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Scott Richmond of the Blue Jays. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
And Scott actually got off to a really good start, winning his first 4 decisions, but had some bicep tendonitis. They had to shut him down in July, and since he has come back, his last 7 starts, he has really struggled. 0-4 with an earned run average approaching 7. And Jim Leland has 6 left-handers in his lineup today. You may ask why. They are hitting Richmond at a 306 clip.
Here's Granderson. He is starting things off. Curtis trying to snap an 0 for 10. He was batting 7th in the ballgame last night against the left-hander, Brian Talent. He's back up to his leadoff slot tonight. The 0-2.
It is no coincidence when the team struggles as a whole, usually Granderson is struggling at the top of the batting order.
Yeah, he seems to be the engine. There's no question about that. Fouled off that breaking ball to stay alive.
And Curtis out taking some extra batting practice today, trying to figure out some things. which he has done a lot of this year. The power department is very good. And Curtis comes in with 26 home runs, but the batting average a little lower than where we're accustomed to seeing Granderson.
Well, they are expecting Granderson to pull. They are giving up the entire third base line to Curtis. Encarnacion way off the bag at third.
I think this is the first time I've seen this type of shift against Granderson.
That ball's hit well. Deep into right field. Engel it back. He'll turn. It's gone. It's a leadoff home run for Curtis Granderson.
They can't put anybody up there, though.
Granderson hits his 27th of the year.
Well, we told you Richmond struggles against left-handers, and the reason why is he has to get the curveball down. If he leaves the breaking ball up in the area where he allows Granderson to get some extension with a good lower half, he's going to get punished today. That's a real good swing for Curtis, and some dividends paid off from the early work that he and Lloyd McClendon did before the ball game.
Polanco hits one to center field and hits it well. Wells on the run. He'll track it down for the out.
Boy, did he get a good jump, and did he take a great route. And that's what Vernon Wells brings to the dance. He's a stellar defender in center field. I mean, as soon as this ball was hit, he's playing Polanco very shallow. He takes off on the dime and takes a direct route to run this ball down. If you take just one wrong route, or if you don't break immediately, you don't catch this ball playing as shallow as Vernon was playing.
That'll bring up Carlos Guillen. A couple of hard hit balls against Richmond to start this game. By the way, the home run by Granderson, the 23rd career leadoff home run for Curtis, which ties Lou Whitaker for the franchise record in that category. And it's his 6th this season alone. So it's been a good year in the leadoff spot in terms of power.
I mean, think about that for a moment. I mean, Lou played about, what, 15, 18, 20 years in the big leagues?
Sure did.
This is Curtis's, what, 4th, 5th full season.
Well, and that's why I think people, when they look at Granderson, they think about a guy that's probably going to hit more toward the middle of the order than leadoff eventually in his career because of the power numbers. Here's the 1-1.
And Richmond has all 4 pitches. He's got a fastball, he's got a curve, he's got a slider, and a changeup. He likes to throw the slider to the right-handed hitters, and he likes to throw a real slow breaking ball down and in to the left-handers to try to keep them off balance. The pitch he tried to get Granderson out with, but he left it up, and we know the results.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Carlos Guillen. Tigers lead 1-0 on the home run by Curtis Granderson. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Richmond, pretty good story. I mean, here's a guy that pitched 3 years of independent ball in Edmonton before Rob Ducey, a scout in the Toronto Blue Jays organization, saw him and signed him. He spent a little bit of time in the minor leagues last year before coming to the big leagues, and he was really good at this beginning of this season. I think the bicep tendonitis has kind of slowed him down a little bit, but just a wonderful story of perseverance.
6'5", 215, born in North Vancouver, British Columbia. There's the 3-2 pitch.
We were talking about Kevin Millar, who started last night for Toronto, getting his start as well in professional baseball, playing for the St. Paul Saints.
Well, what makes Richmond's story even more incredible is that his high school did not have a baseball team, so he pretty much had to get his high school experience, or in his high school years, playing summer ball across Western Canada. There's ball 4, and the Tigers have another man aboard.
Let's take a look at the Blue Jays behind Richmond in the ball game. You've got Snyder in left, Lynn getting the night off after being hit in the shin by Galarraga. Wells in center, Inglet is in right, Encarnacion is at third, Scudero Hill up the middle. Overbase, slick fielding first baseman is at first, and Barajas is back behind the plate for the 2nd consecutive night.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. 1 on, 1 out. Cabrera last night 1 for 5. He is still third in the American League, batting .334. Don't think he'll be able to catch either Ichiro or Mauer. They are both ahead of him. Possible, but a lot of ground to be made up. Mauer came in at .364.
And Cabrera also came out and took some extra batting practice today, and one of the things that they wanted to stay away from, talking to Lloyd McClendon, was the big swings that he'd been taking the last couple of days. This is a big swing right there, too big for Cabrera. And one of the things that he does not need to do is cheat. And he's been doing a little bit of that lately with the lower half of his body.
2 balls, 1 strike.
And what I mean by cheat is when a hitter's not necessarily feeling all that comfortable, they try to jump at the ball. They try to get out there to get going. And a lot of times you swing at bad pitches. And he's been doing a little bit of that. So they came out today and worked on the lower half of his body, stabilizing the legs, which allows you to have really good bat speed.
Richmond falling behind now with Huff waiting on deck. Tigers get the leadoff home run and now the 1-out walk.
Well, we talked about Cabrera and also Polanco in the top of our show and just how good they've been since Guillen has gotten back. And there you have it. Guillen standing on first base with Cabrera. A chance to drive him in with a gapper.
Runner going and a ground ball to short. Keep him out of the double play. Cabrera is out and Guillen gets to second base.
Usually a manager will not start a runner in a 3-1 count with a guy like Cabrera standing in the batter's box, and the reason for that is you don't want to force your hitter into swinging the bat, or at least think he has to protect that runner. But it was a wise decision there by Jim because, as you said, it would have been a double play ball.
So 2-out chance now for Aubrey Huff. Man in scoring position. Huff batting .245, was 0 for 1 in the ball game last night. Huff came on as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning for Marcus Thames. And he takes strike 1.
I actually got my scouting report today from Aubrey Huff. He said he had faced Richmond about 3 to 4 different times while he was wearing a Baltimore Orioles uniform, and he said he probably would get some of those slow curveballs, which he was let off with by Richmond.
Shattered his bat, and he lines out soft line drive as it was to second base. So Granderson gives the Tigers the lead, his 23rd career leadoff home run. He ties Sweet Lou, and it's 1-0 Detroit.
Brim?
None. 0.
Look good on you. Look good on you, though.
Yours was on backwards.
Yeah, like Ken Griffey Jr. used to wear.
Here's Overbay. They'll lead things off for the Blue Jays. It'll be Overbay, Barajas, and then Encarnacion.
Tigers lead 1-0 on the Granderson home run. Overbay with 14 homers. His power numbers have dissipated over the past couple of years. Had a good power season in terms of home runs in the 06 campaign when he hit 22. That was his career high. Jackson had a 1-2-3 first inning. 2 balls, 1 strike. Overbay fighting it a bit right now. He's won for his last 15 at bats. Way high. Jackson overthrew that fastball. 3-1. Three and two. Jackson's had some good numbers against the American League East. It's been really good against a difficult division. 3-1 with a 2-2-3 this season against teams in that division. Yankees, Boston, Tampa. This Toronto team, there's ball 4.
Let's flash back to April 7th. Jackson's first start in the Tigers uniform, and boy, was it a good one. Did not get the win in this game, but he was stellar. He had that real nice slider going. He had that good firm fastball in the mid-90s. And he really took off from this game and continued his mastery over American League opponents for the better part of 3 months. Just didn't get a whole lot of run support, and that's why Jackson has only won 12 games this year.
Here's Rod Barajas batting in the 5-hole for Cito Gaston tonight. First pitch down the middle, right at 94, right at the knees, 0-1. .62 RBIs for Barajas. Good numbers for a catcher. 17 homers. In fact, his RBI total is 5th best among catchers in the American League. Good black by Avila. He went down there to get it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Edwin with victories over Tampa and Cleveland in his last 2 starts.
That last start against Tampa, and Jim let him go back out there for the 8th inning, even though he was well over 100 pitches, because he wanted to give Edwin a chance to win the game. And of course, the Tigers scored some runs in the top half of the 9th, and he ended up winning that game.
.126 pitches total in that last start for Jackson. Of course, his season high remains that remarkable game he threw against Texas back in May, in which he threw 132. And it's very rare that you'll see really anybody in the big leagues these days get to the 130 plateau. High fly ball hit well left center field. This ball is tagged. That ball is way back, and that ball is gone. Barajas has just hit his 18th of the year, and the Blue Jays take the lead.
Well, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, and in this case Rod Barajas, if you get yourself in a predictable fastball count and you know that Jackson's going to throw you that fastball that's firm at 95, really all you have to do is touch it. And that's exactly what Barajas did. The ball's down, he dropped the barrel on it, and the ball flew into the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. What a year for Barajas. He's a free agent after this season.
395 feet later, the Jays have taken the advantage now, and here is Edwin Encarnacion. Ball outside, 1-0. Encarnacion batting just a .198. Came over from Cincinnati in the Scott Rowland deal that was executed right at the end of July, on the 31st, right at the deadline.
He pretty much was a throw-in on that deal. And Cincinnati told Toronto, if you want the 2 young pitchers that we're going to give you for Rowland, then you've got to take Encarnacion as well. And Toronto took him. You see that a lot. There are a lot of throw-in deals with some guys making decent money.
Shattered his bat, rolled it to third. It's the second shattered bat we've seen tonight. That was the first out of the inning. I think Mike Lowell was a throw-in hit one time, wasn't he?
And that Beckett deal,
Yeah.
yes, he was.
And he's turned out to put up some pretty good numbers. Have a nice career in Boston. Here's Randy Ruiz. Yet another interesting story in this Blue Jays locker room this year. We talked about Richmond and the climb that he has made to get to the big leagues. Ruiz spent parts of 10 years in the minors before he got his opportunity with Minnesota briefly last year. And along the way, he was winning batting titles, making all-star teams. Never really got that shot. Hammers this one to the gap. That ball is down. Over to cut it off is Guillen. Ruiz will hold at first base with a single.
Ruiz can swing that stick, though. He took Galarraga deep in last night's game. Galarraga tried to get a little 3-1, get me over slider over the plate, and Ruiz played long ball. And this is an absolute missile. It's a fastball right down the middle, and he just hits a seed. He's thinking two out of the batter's box, but Carlos Guillen did a very nice job at getting over to cut that ball off in left center field and getting it back in to second base.
Third base runner in this inning for Toronto. They've taken the 2-1 lead on the home run by Barajas. Here's Travis Snyder. Snyder batting .231. Had a big opening day against Detroit. Home run and a double. He homered off Verlander.
Adam Lynn, their everyday left fielder, could not go today. At least at the start of this game, he was hit in the right shin yesterday by Galarraga. Had to leave the game, and was talking to him before the game in the dugout. He said he was pretty sore today. Cito Gaston, second tour of duty as a manager with Toronto Blue Jays, won back-to-back championships for them in the early 90s. Got a real nice, calm demeanor about him, doesn't he? Looks in charge.
Always has been. Looks like one of those guys you don't want to mess with, but also one of those guys that seems to be a fair human. And when you sit and talk to Cito, you come away really impressed.
Old school.
Two balls, one strike on Travis Snyder. I mentioned he opened the season with a bang with a home run and a double on opening day, but it wasn't long before Snyder was sent back down to the minor leagues. They sent him down in May, just a couple of months into the season. Since being recalled, he's batting just .214, and he waves and misses, and Jackson gets his second strikeout. Two gone. And before Inglet steps into the plate, to remind you this game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. That'll bring up Joe Inglet, batting .282, getting the start in right field tonight. Broke in with the Cleveland Indians and has always hit pretty well in his career, nearly .300 against Tigers pitching. Sends a high fly ball into right field. Thomas going back to the warning track. He's under, and the side retired. They take the lead on the 2-run homer by Barajas. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Cell phone text Tigers, followed by a space and the player's uniform number to FSDET or 37338. And you can also see the final results post-game during Tigers Live, so stick around for that. There's Clete Thomas leading it off. Thomas getting the start in right field this evening. He'll be followed by Alex Avila and then Brandon Inge. Tigers had a quick lead, but they've given it up. A couple of homers tonight. Granderson for Detroit, Barajas for Toronto. Right at the knees for a strike, 0-2 on Clete.
Jim has as many left-handers in his batting order as he could possibly find here tonight. 6 to be exact against Richmond. Right-handers, left-handers hit better than 306 against him, where right-handers are just a tad above 200. So it's a big difference.
Well, Richmond has lost 6 straight decisions. Biceps tendonitis kept him on the disabled list for a while. He's 0-4 since his return.
I noticed in the first inning where Richmond was climbing the ladder with several fastballs at 90 miles an hour. And it's the same pitch that Talent, the left-hander, was throwing early in the game against some of the Tigers hitters. It's a pitch that they must lay off of. And apparently that's the way they're going to try to attack the Tigers hitters, at least the first couple of games of this series. Elevated fastballs.
Thomas breaks his bat, loops it to center, base hit. There's 3 broken bats tonight.
It's our Lincoln Mercury Exmo, a little slider. And that's just spinning, doesn't do a whole lot. The ball's up, and Clete's able to, even though he got jammed, muscle that ball into center field.
Tying run is on for Detroit. Here's Alex Avila.
Alex Avila did not start in all 3 of those games in Kansas City, and did not start yesterday. So his first start since last Saturday in Tampa.
1-0 on Alex, batting .295. He's hit 4 home runs already in limited playing time. Clete Thomas at first base. Only a couple of swipes this year. 2 for 2 for Clete. 2-0.
Barajas has always been a good game caller, a good receiver, and a very good thrower. He comes in at 31% this year. But neither the Tigers or the Blue Jays have much of a running team.
Driven high, deep in the air, right field, way back. See you later, it's gone. Man, can Avila hit some long home runs. That thing was way back. And the Tigers retake the lead. He absolutely clobbered that thing.
Let's take a look at the youngster's swing. First and foremost, you get that stride, and his front foot is firm. That's the key. Now all of a sudden you get the weight transfer coming through the baseball, head directly down, and you get this kind of damage. And he is some kind of strong, but it all starts with the lower half of the body. If it's stable, if it's firm, you can generate good bat speed, and you can hit some long home runs on 2-0 fastballs. That ball right in Avila's happy zone.
Apparently so, because his swing is so short and compact, and he hits some balls a long way.
Well, that ball he hit in Tampa in the first leg of that road trip, where the Tigers took all 3. He hit one of those catwalks that was still going when it hit it.
398 feet, just shy of 400 on that home run, the 5th for Alex Avila. So the Tigers get the lead right back at 3-2. Brandon Inge, the batter. 3 home runs already in this game. There's a check swing. Did he go? Nope. 2-2. In 0 for 2 in last night's game. Fouled straight back. Tigers have 3 runs on 3 hits. Blue Jays 2 runs, 2 hits. 2-2 pitch is outside. Run it full now at 3-2. Santiago waiting on deck. The 3-2 is down low, bounces in, ball 4. Well, here's some numbers that kind of point to the fact that Richmond, you can get to him early, but he will settle down in games. 288 first time through, 260 second time through, and then down to 218. The Tigers have gotten him here the first time through for 3 runs already. Still nobody out here in the second. Here's Santiago chatting about that home run that was hit a mile by Avila. That's looped into center field. Vernon Wells on the run to make the catch.
That's why he's so good. He plays so shallow, which means he could take away the bloop singles as he does there. And because he gets such a great jump, we can watch him take away doubles and triples as he did to Polanco in the very first inning. Plays shallow, good break, catches that ball without leaving his feet. Offensively, Vernon not performing all that well this year for Toronto, but he brings that glove with him every night.
I know Torrey Hunter gets a lot of press, and deservedly so. Grady Sizemore, Curtis Granderson, but this guy is as good really as anybody in center field. He plays
smooth.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe him. He seems effortless out there.
Just smooth.
Granderson homered in the first. Continues to add to his career high 27. One ball and 1 strike. Granderson tying up Whitaker. Phillips third on that list for leadoff home runs.
Boy, was Tony Phillips a gamer. He came to play, and he came to beat you every single night. Fierce competitor.
I used to love watching Tony Phillips play. I used to love watching him and his at-bats. He was the type of guy that would be down 0-2 and invariably would always draw a walk.
Grind it out, didn't he?
Like nobody could. That's inside, 2-2. And he played with some intensity too, man. He came out to play every night.
When he would snap,
you knew it.
he'd snap.
He had some good ones. 2-2 on Curtis Granderson. And down he goes. Second out of the inning. First strikeout for Richmond.
This is the pitch that Richmond tries to get left-handed hitters out with, and it's that slow breaking ball and that he tries to drop right at the left-handed hitter's back foot. Now, this actually has some pretty nice tilt to it, and right underneath the swing of Curtis.
Now Polanco. Flat out to center in the first inning. Placido has been a much better hitter at home this year. 303 at Comerica Park. Gets that one back up the middle, but ranging left is Scudero, and they'll get the force to retire the side. Tigers go ahead, though. They get their second home run of the night. Alex Avila going way back into the seats in right. Edwin Jackson back of the hill facing Marco Scutaro, the Blue Jays leadoff man. Ball 1 to Scutaro. He is 0 for 1 with a fly ball in the first inning. Scutaro a couple of weeks ago, actually it was more than that now, it was toward the end of August, was hit in the helmet by Josh Beckett in a game at Fenway Park in Boston. The 1-1. And it seems like there's a long list of guys that have been hit by Josh Beckett over the years.
He will pitch inside aggressively. He is not afraid. That much is for certain. He's been struggling lately. Has Beckett.
Here's the 1-2. Hit well. Left center field. Granderson cruising over. He'll get there. He covered the gap nicely there. One gone.
You know, we always talk about taking great routes in the outfield. And look at Granderson where he starts. He's in right center field. And that's a fastball Scutaro is able to pull. And Granderson's able to run it down. And that's one of the things that Granderson has started to do with 2 strikes. Especially with Jackson on the mound. Most guys aren't going to pull Jackson once they've fallen behind. And that's why he was shading Scutaro in right center.
Here's Aaron Hill. He pops it up. Shallow right field. Polanco back. Thomas in. Thomas with the play. 2 gone. Hill had all those bloops last night. Not this time, though. It hung up long enough for Cleat. Here's Vernon Wells. We've been talking about Roberto Clemente Award nominees. And, of course, Granderson for the Tigers. It is Vernon Wells. That is the Blue Jays nominee. He has done a lot of work in the Toronto area, especially with the youngsters. He has created a foundation for displaced children in the Toronto area. And he was voted as their Clemente nominee. He lines one into shallow left, and Guillen can't get it. It'll roll by him, but he's backed up by Curtis Granderson.
You can afford to leave your feet if you're a left fielder on a ball that's in left center, as that one was, knowing that Granderson would be right behind you and he would keep Wells at first base. It's a good effort by Carlos. You can see Granderson already on the move over there to back up Guillen. Every time the ball is hit, every single one of the defenders has a place to be and a place to go. If you're not getting to a base, then you should be backing up somebody somewhere. Everybody, every time the ball's hit. And when you get caught standing flat-footed, that's when you see the overthrows, and that's when you get singled out.
Here's Overbay. Walked, scored on the home run by Barajas in the second. Jays now have 3 hits. Tigers have 3 hits as well. .16 steals for Wells.
He is one of the few guys that will run. And Jackson is one of the few starters the Tigers have in their rotation that teams will run against.
This one gets away from Avila. Advance the runner. Wells took that aggressive turn at second base, but holds up. Wild pitch. Tying run in scoring position with 2 outs.
And if you're Jackson, you just can't give in here to Overbay. Overbay has himself in a good fastball count. You may want to throw something off speed, maybe a changeup. See if you can get him to hit something softly on the ground. If you try to throw that fastball by Overbay, there's a good chance he's going to put it in play somewhere aggressively.
3-1. Barajas on deck. Ground ball right side. Polanco handles this one. And that is that for the Blue Jays. They threaten but do not score. 2.5 in the books here at Comerica. 3-2 Detroit. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. At Bell Tire, you get the best tire price, period. And out the door with more. Back here at the ballpark tonight, Tigers and Blue Jays. Round and round we go. In a 3-2 ball game, each team with 3 hits. Richmond back to the hill in the third, facing Carlos Guillen. It'll be Guillen and then Cabrera and then Huff. Carlos had a walk in that first inning. Failed to score, though. They're playing him to pull as well. Just about every left-handed batter up there is being given that third base line by Encarnacion. Outfield straight up for the most part. Now the 1-1. Reaching back for 92. Richmond threw it by.
It's probably one of the reasons why Brian Butterfield, who handles the infielders for Toronto and is the bench coach for Cito Gaston, elects to play this type of alignment. Richmond's one of those guys that most of the left-handers are going to pull. Not many guys are going to take him the opposite way because he's not overpowering.
Fouled straight back. By the way, you mentioned Brian Butterfield, and you heard today that Derek Jeter passed Lou Gehrig for the all-time hit leader in Yankees history, and one of his tutors early on in his career was Brian Butterfield, who was a coach at the time.
Yes, he was.
He's credited with working with Jeter quite a bit early on in Derek's career in terms of his defensive skills.
Butter is his nickname. He's always been very good at that. He did that with the Arizona Diamondbacks as well. He was a minor league infielder instructor before the team started playing major league games, and then he was on Buck Showalter's first staff as his third base coach and handling the infielders.
Vernon Wells handles this one, and Guillen is gone, one away.
Hey fans, buy a party suite for selected games in September and receive a $300 food credit plus a free suite for another game. For more information, call 313-471-BALL or log on to tigers.com.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera bounced out 6-3. He's 0 for 1. Richmond bounces one in. We're talking about the fact that Richmond did not have a high school that had a baseball team, played a lot of summer ball, and played a couple of years in junior college before he got a chance to pitch at Oklahoma State, eventually transferring there. There's another one that bounces in. He's done that quite a bit tonight. 2-0. And after independent baseball, finally got his opportunity signed by Toronto in an open tryout. Here he is. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Again on the ground to the shortstop and gobbled up by Scudero. 2 gone. And that brings up Aubrey Huff. Huff lined out in his first at bat. Oh, and 1 on Huff. Again to the right side. This time the second baseman Hill will handle it, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. Easy inning for Richmond. We played 3 here at the ballpark.
His 27th home run of the year, but Rod Barajas quickly countered with a 2-run shot of his own in the second inning. But the youngster, Avila, getting his first start in 5 games, hit a ball about 397 feet off the starter, Richmond, and that's where we stand right now. Tigers 3, Blue Jays 2.
Edwin Jackson back to the slab, and it'll be Barajas to lead it off as we go to the 4th inning. Barajas, Encarnacion, and then Randy Ruiz. Each team 3 hits. First pitch inside to Barajas. 18 home runs now in a Blue Jays uniform this year. Barajas has driven in 64. Edwin's 1-0. Look out, shattered bat into the crowd. off the top of the Tigers dugout, and it's just been amazing how many we've had tonight. I think it's 4 now. And Barajas hoping everyone's okay. Well, you have no choice but to remain awake and alert if you want to sit in those seats behind the dugout.
Well, they're not going to let her keep that. They got to get her fresh back.
Yeah, that's too dangerous to be carrying around.
Yuck. Time.
You can roast marshmallows with that thing. That's hit to third. Right there is in. Cabrera can't pick it. And the leadoff man is on.
This ball jumped up on Brandon, but one of the things that he did after he did get the ball, he's kind of set his feet, but he threw underneath. And every now and then a throw will be bounced over there, and you'll need a little help from your first baseman. And Cabby was not able to pitch that one cleanly, and Brandon will be given an air.
Here's Encarnacion. Hit a ground ball his first time up. Another one here would look good. Ball 1. Four-game hit streak for Encarnacion. Hitting just 195 in a Blue Jays uniform after coming over in the trade from the National League in Cincinnati. Edwin Jackson came into this game with 141 strikeouts. He has picked up a couple more tonight, which means he continues to add to his career high that he's established this year in that category. Of course, Verlander has led the American League most of the year in strikeouts. Justin with 230 pacing the American League. Fouled away. 2-2. Fellow behind home plate just caught that foul ball in his cup. Now that's some skill. Shattered bat rolled toward third. This might be 2. Inge to second. 1. Relay. Safe. Cabrera couldn't hold on to it anyway. And hard slide down there at second base. Here's the Aflac trivia question tonight. Who was the last team to win their first ever World Series appearance? Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays did it in '91. There has been a team that has done it since. Can you name that team? Answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th. Here comes Randy Ruiz. He had a base hit back in the second. Off the end of the bat, fielded at first by Cabrera. Nicely done. Here comes the relay. Jackson covers, and that's a double play. 3-6-1. The twin killing ends the inning. breeze on a gorgeous night here in the Motor City. Temperature was 73 at game time. And Cleet Thomas will lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Cleet and then Avila and then Inge. Tigers took the lead on the 2-run homer by Alex Avila back in the second. 2-0 on Thomas. Cleet had a single to start that inning off. So we'll see what this duo can do here in the fourth. Richmond has fallen way behind now. 3 balls, no strikes. And he walked him. 3rd walk for Richmond. It's that Affleck trivia question again. Who was the last team to win their first ever appearance in the World Series? Well, that would be the Anaheim Angels back in 2002 when they beat San Francisco that year. Angels won it in 7, and in that 7-game series, current Tiger Jared Washburn started 2 of those games. Here's a ball to Alex Avila. Avila's home run back in the second, his 5th of this season. There's a strike call, 1-1. I mentioned that Richmond grew up in Western Canada, in British Columbia. That area has produced some big leaguers like Justin Morneau, Brian Dempster, Jeff Francis. They've all played in the big leagues, and Richmond said those guys were on the front burner. I was on the back burner. They were getting all the publicity, and rightfully so. Morneau has had a terrific big league career so far. And Richmond had to take the hard way to the big leagues. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with a breaking ball, and strikeout number 2 for Scott Richmond. His other strikeout victim was Granderson in the second.
Same pitch, slow loopy breaking ball.
Brandon Inge had a base on balls in the second inning. Thomas has a couple of steals this year, has not been caught. Strike called on Inge, 0-1. Here's the 0-2. Tried to hit him with that breaking ball. Inge let it go by, and it missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brandon. Inge had a couple of walks in the game last night and has a walk here tonight. That one missed inside. 2-2.
He's starting to get a really nice feel for this breaking ball. He tried the front door, and Brandon Inge with that breaking ball coming inside instead of simply throwing that ball outside where most breaking balls end up.
High fly ball into center field. Vernon Wells. He's under it. 2 gone. Well, tomorrow the pro football season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, the Lions launch the Jim Schwartz era when they visit the New Orleans Saints. And then the Washington Redskins take on Eli Manning and the New York Giants. Coverage begins tomorrow at noon. It's on your local Fox station. Two out for Ramon Santiago. He flied out in his first at bat. And he takes a breaking ball in there. A bit high, but a high strike nonetheless. 0-1. Santiago came into this game with some really good home numbers. .316 here at Comerica. Waves and misses. 0-2.
The thing about this breaking ball that Richmond is featuring, it starts very high in the strike zone, and if you're the Tigers, you see it around the belt buckle, and by the time you start your swing, it's at your shoe tops. It's got a nice, pretty big depth with that breaking ball that he's featuring here today.
He's got a couple of strikeouts with it. Richmond's had a couple of games in which he's gone double digits in the strikeout column. 11 against Philadelphia and 10 against the Angels.
And Barajas called for the fastball up, as he has done quite often the last couple of days, but that wasn't a good pitch there by Richmond. I mean, when you do throw the ball up, you want to at least entice the hitters into swinging at it. At least think about swinging at it. That was a ball as soon as it left his hand.
Runner going. And the throw not in time.
He picked the right pitch to run on, that's for sure. One of those slow breaking balls, and Thomas gets his 3rd steal of the year. Rod Barajas just really took his time, knowing that Cleat had a pretty good jump, and just kind of bounced it down there. But a very nice pick by Scooterroll, and they almost got him, but he gets that right foot in there ahead of the tag, left foot, excuse me.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Struck him out. 3rd strikeout for Scott Richmond. Tigers strand him, and we will go to the 5th. It's 3-2 Detroit. I mentioned early in the game, Rod, that if you get to Richmond early, you've got to, because as the game goes on, he seems to settle in, and it seems to be that way right now.
Well, against the left-handers, he's finally figured out that out pitch, at least for this evening, and some slow breaking balls for some of the strikeouts he's had against the lefties, because really coming into this game, left-handers have handled him pretty well.
Meanwhile, Edwin Jackson getting set to go back to work now as we start things off here in the 5th inning, and his first pitch is fouled away by Travis Snyder. 3-2, Tigers in the lead. Jackson gave up the home run to Barajas in the 2nd, but nothing after that. Snyder, Inglet, and Scutaro the batters. Swing and a miss. 96 miles an hour, and Edwin threw it right by him. Snyder struck out back in the 2nd. And he does it again. He couldn't lay off at 97, right at the bill of the cap almost. 3rd strikeout for Jackson.
Well, if you find a hitter that's having a difficult time of catching up to your fastball, especially around the belt buckle, once you get ahead, go ahead and throw another one up there and see if you can get him to swing, as Snyder did.
Here's number 9 hitter Joe Inglet. 0 for 1 with a fly ball. This is Jackson's 4th career start against the Blue Jays, and his first 3 have been really good. A 1.86 ERA. Santiago can't get to that one. It's into center field, and a 1-out single for Inglet. Blue Jays now have their 4th hit. That'll bring up the top of the order, Marco Scutaro. Scutaro this year has scored 96 runs, so he should get to 100 with ease. He's also walked 88 times, which is 2nd most among all major league leadoff hitters. And of course, their job, get on base, set up the big boys, and Scutaro has done a lot of that, and he's scored a lot of runs. He's already walked 3 times in this series. It seemed like Scutaro was filling in for everybody in his days in Oakland, whether it was Eric Chavez or Bobby Crosby, Mark Ellis.
Some guys get labeled as utility players when they get to the major leagues, but when you find a manager like Aceto Gaston that's willing to give you a chance to play every single day and learn a position, you can find out about a guy, and apparently they found out that Scutaro can play that shortstop position on a day-to-day basis. As a matter of fact, they are touting him as possibly winning a Gold Glove this year. That's how good he's been at shortstop.
Ball 1 to Scutaro. He's hit a couple of fly balls in this game. 1 to left, 1 to center. He's 0 for 2. Inglet, the tying run at first base with 1 out. Runner goes. Big jump. Avila's throw. He is not in time. A steal for Joe Inglet, his 3rd of the year.
Well, you've got a couple of teams that don't run very much, but each has stolen a base in this game, and each has stolen it off the pitcher. And pretty good jump here from Inglet. A nice exchange there by Avila, but he bounces it. Polanco's able to pick it, but not able to put the tag on him before he gets that right foot on the bag. It's a nice job by Polanco following Inglet all the way and keeping the glove on him just in case that foot comes off the bag.
Two and one. Well, Jackson has gotten 3 runs in support tonight, but typically he doesn't get too many. In fact, he has the 4th lowest run support in the American League, about 4 runs a game. Jays trying to tie it up here in the 5th. Runner at 2nd with 1 out. Make it 2-2 now on Marco Scutaro. There and Hill waiting on deck. They've kept him to an 0 for 2 so far this evening. Pretty pop up. Shallow center. Gonna drop. Base hit. Inglet rounding third. They'll send him home. Here comes Granderson's throw. Cut off. RBI single for Marco Scutaro. And it's a 3-3 game.
It's a good read by Inglet. Really good read. And that's why before the pitch, when you're at second base, you always need to know where the outfielders are playing. Therefore, on a swing, and when the ball lands in the outfield, you know you can get a pretty good jump off second base. He turns around, takes one look. He knows no one's going to get there, and then he's able to score with his speed.
Scutaro gets his 58th RBI. It's his first hit in the series. It has tied it up. And now Aaron Hill. Hill sends a ground ball to third. Inge has it. The second one. Relay. Double play. 5-4-3. Second one of the night. Turned by the Tigers. Curtis Granderson will lead things off when we get to the bottom of the fifth. Up 3-3 is our score. Tigers coming to the plate with the top of the order here in the fifth inning. Curtis Granderson leads it off and takes that breaking ball from Scott Richmond down low.
And Richmond has thrown a lot of those breaking balls the last couple of innings. And he's got a lot of swings and misses on that pitch.
Two 2-0.
It's a good count here for Granderson to hit him, but don't get greedy. And you could think about hitting the ball to right center field, to left center field. You don't necessarily have to pull it.
Popped him up.
Got beat on that fastball.
In foul territory, Encarnacion.
That's when you're thinking a little bit too much in the batter's box, when you get yourself in a good count. 2 balls and no strikes, as Granderson is right here. And you just allow this fastball to get too deep. Again, Granderson needs to get out there and attack that fastball, especially at 89 miles an hour. It's straight and it's right down the middle. That doesn't mean you're always going to get a base hit, but at least the swing could be a lot more aggressive than that 2-0 swing.
Here's Polanco with 1 out. Ball high.
Talking about Scutaro last half inning and how well he has played for the Blue Jays, and how many expect him to possibly win a Gold Glove this year. Depending on whether Derek Jeter gets it or not, Polanco should get his second Gold Glove. this year. I don't think there's anybody in the American League that's played second base any better than him. He's only made 2 errors all year long.
Very steady. Been steady since he's been here. Ball outside, 2-1.
A lot of times that award goes to the best offensive player at that position that somewhat has a good year at second base as well, and Hill would fall into that category, but Polanco should get his second Gold Glove.
Well, Placido ahead in the count, 3-1.
997 fielding percentage, which has to be tops among all American League second basemen.
Slowly toward third. No chance for Encarnacion, even if he comes up with that ball on the bare hand. Infield hit for Polanco. So the Tigers get another hit on the board. And the go-ahead run is aboard now. That is the 4th Tigers hit. Two 2-0. Ian with a walk and a fly ball. Go foul down the first base line, 2-1. Tigers 3, Toronto 3 here at Comerica Park in downtown Detroit tonight for the second game in this series. Mario and Rod at the ballpark along with Brady Klein, our producer. Brian Moss is directing tonight.
Nice crowd here at Comerica Park again.
That misses outside, 3-1. Richmond got him 1-2-3 in the third. Leadoff walk in the fourth, but no damage done. Now an infield single here in the fifth, and there's some action in their bullpen. Jesse Carlson, he's the left-hander. Brandon League, the hard-throwing right-hander. The 3-1 outside and high. Ball 4. 4 walks. Tigers threatening now here in the fifth. He's going to bring up Cabrera. Cito poring over his notes and reports. Cabrera's hit the ball on the ground twice. 0 for 2. Chance to put his team back in the lead.
The second consecutive day that Barajas has been crossed up by one of his pitchers. And yesterday, miraculously, he was looking for a breaking ball and got a fastball and caught it. That time he wasn't as lucky. He's looking breaking ball, and he gets a fastball, and he's lucky this ball didn't hit him right in the chest. That is scary for a catcher. Obviously, the signs change a little bit when there's a runner on second base, and they weren't on the same page there. They're on the same page now. Ooh, good swing. Good swing. This is exactly what they worked on before the game today, getting himself in a real good position with his lower half. And even though the swing was aggressive, he stayed back with his body, which is good for Cabrera.
Two and one on Miguel. Did not offer at that breaking ball. Tigers got an infield hit and a walk after the single by Scudero tied it up in the top of this inning. 2-1. And a ground ball foul. Next side of the bag, and Encarnacion at third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cabrera, 85 RBIs. Their top RBI man trying to give the Tigers the lead once again. Detroit tonight has hit 2 home runs, Granderson and Avila. Three and 2. Aubrey Huff waiting on deck.
Wouldn't be shocked to see Polanco and Guillen take off on the 3-2 pitch. Jim has confidence in Cabrera not to strike out.
Swinging it right. Deep into left. Way back. It's gone. Third home run of the night for the Tigers. And they're back in the lead.
We talked about the fact that Cabrera came out early for some extra batting practice, and one of the things that he wanted to do was to put himself in a better position to do some damage with his lower half. And boy, does he put himself in that position with a hanging breaking ball on the 3-2 count. He absolutely clobbered it, and that's our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. That's where the big boys hit him.
420 feet on that home run by Cabrera. His 29th of the year. RBIs 86, 7, and 8 in Richmond. third of the evening, but this one hit by Cabrera was absolutely vaporized. 420 feet. And Miguel has knocked Carlson, or I should say Richmond, out of the game, and Carlson into the game in a wall side windows pitching change.
He has made a lot of appearances already this year. Out of the Blue Jay bullpen, 65 is tied for third most in the American League. He comes in with a losing record, 1 win and 5 losses. And the reason why Cito Gaston went to Carlson is to try to shut down some of these left-handers that Jim Leland has in his lineup tonight. One too many breaking balls for Richmond, and he started to hang a few because he's been throwing so many of them. And Cabrera made him pay.
95 pitches for Richmond.
It's a lot.
And Cabrera sends it packing. Aubrey Huff waiting on the 0-1. Right back to the pitcher. Carlson throws him out.
Two of the guys that came out and took some extra batting practice today, Granderson and Cabrera, have both played long ball in this game tonight for Jim Leland's Tigers. Boy, Lloyd McClendon. Every hitting instructor has to work very hard, but he has had to put in a lot of work this year with this offense and trying to get them somewhat consistent.
Here's Clete Thomas.
You would think that Carlson would be a little bit tougher on left-handers with this delivery. And he throws off the first base side of the rubber, and then he jumps toward first base while delivering the baseball to give left-handed batters a really weird angle. But lefty's hitting him at a 263 clip this year.
Clete has a walk and a single and a stolen base. We'll try and keep it going here, and Carlson misses inside, 2-1.
Carlson ain't spending his meal money either. He's a real slim guy.
28 years old, out of New Britain, Connecticut originally. That's where he was born. Fouled back out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Thomas.
He's been dealing. Last 13 appearances, spanning 11 innings. The earned run average tremendous, under 1.
13 strikeouts and 0 walks in that stretch is really impressive, and he almost got Thomas there. 3-2. Avila waiting on deck. And there's ball 4. It's the 5th walk for Toronto pitching tonight. 4 of them by the starter Richmond. There's Avila. Alex hit a shot into the seats in right back in the 2nd inning. Ooh, a high strike. That was up with the letters. 0-1. Ground ball to second. Should get him out of the inning. Hill throws him outside, retired, but not before the Tigers regain the lead. They do so on the home run. Cabby hit this one a mile. Still going. Edwin Jackson and the Tigers the lead, and Jackson now with a 3-run cushion to work with as we head to the 6th. It'll be Vernon Wells to lead it off, then Overbay, and then Barajas. 3, 4, and 5. Tigers have 5 hits, and the Jays have 5 hits. Jackson has had a couple of double plays turned behind him tonight. First pitch down low to Vernon Wells. 6-game hit streak with his base hit back in the 3rd. And Jackson's 1-0. A little bit low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Driven and hit hard deep to left center field. Granderson turns his back. He looks up and it's gone.
That's the swing that Blue Jay fans and Blue Jays management have wondered where it's been all year long. Just the 14th home run that Wells has hit. It's 95 miles an hour, and the swing is short and quick. And when you have a guy throwing as hard as Jackson is throwing, really all you have to do as a hitter is just drop the barrel on the ball, and that's exactly what Vernon did.
5 home runs in this game. 6-4 ball game.
When you go up against Jackson, you can pretty much book. If he falls behind you, you're going to get a pretty good fastball to hit. The 2 home runs he's given up in this game, 1 to Wells and 1 to Barajas, have come in fastball counts. 3-1 to Barajas and 2-0 to Vernon Wells. He's not one of those guys that tries to trick you, fool you when he falls behind. He's going to give you the heater.
Well, here's the 2-0 count. And the heater was fouled back 2-1. Overbay walking a run scored 0 for 1.
Overbay had some outstanding years in the minor leagues when he came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks and had a good year there. He played well in Milwaukee and a good year in Toronto as well before the last couple. And just not performing all that well, but his on-base percentage was over 400 every year in the minors. And looked like he was going to be a perennial 300 hitter and a guy that had an on-base percentage of over 4 every year. Sometimes injuries can curtail that, though.
That one got the umpire. Three times in the minor leagues, Overbay drove in over 100 runs. Avila out to the mound to give Rick Reed an opportunity to catch his breath.
The rookie, Avila, looking out for Rick Reed.
Three-two pitch. On the ground, foul. Sounds like we might have another broken bat. Maybe not. Count stays full. We had quite a few bat barrels flying all around the ballpark tonight. One of those nights where bats are shattering. Barajas waiting on deck. There's a chopper hit to the right side for Polanco. One out.
Hey fans, be at Comerica Park tomorrow when the Tigers host the Blue Jays at 1:05. All kids 14 and under receive a Paws bobblehead doll. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
A welcome addition to any bobblehead collection. Here's Barajas.
Have you collected quite a few over the years?
I have a few. I don't know that I'm a collector, but I've got a few. I've got maybe some of my favorite players, some Hall of Fame announcers. Have had some bobbleheads, but not too many. I'd say probably around 15 or so. How about you?
Just the ones that we've been given here over the years. And every now and then when we're on the road, they'll be courteous enough to give us a bobblehead.
1 ball, 1 strike on Barajas. Two-run shot back in the second. He is 1 for 2. Line drive to left. Base hit. He hooked one over the head of Brandon Inge.
Barajas his batting average is quite low, but you wouldn't know that his batting average is just 240 the way that he has swung the bat in this series. He has been on everything. Barajas is one of those good stories as well. Originally signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 1995, and he was a non-drafted, a free agent out of a junior college in Southern California. Wasn't even drafted, and has gone on to carve out a very nice career for himself as a catcher. Good receiver. He can throw. As a matter of fact, he was on that World Championship Arizona Diamondbacks team in 2001. Dwayne Murphy, the first base coach, was the hitting coach on that Diamondbacks team. Murphy could play some defense himself. Won 5 Gold Gloves with the Oakland Athletics. Could play some center field with Tony Armas and Ricky Henderson. Boy, were they good in Oakland then.
Jackson's 0-2. Grounded toward third. Foul behind the bag.
My first year as a coach with Murph, he was a manager and I was a hitting coach on the team, but he kind of handled the outfielders, and he had a very strange way at teaching the outfielders how to play defense. And he would draw a circle in the outfield and he would cut it like it was slices of pie, and he would put the outfielders right in the middle of the pie and throw balls up in the air and get guys to just kind of take directions as they were, straight down the line like they were a pie. And that's how he got guys to take good routes as an outfield instructor.
I don't believe I've ever heard that.
Yeah, he would draw a circle in the outfield, put guys right in the middle of the circle like you're cutting a pie in 4s, and you cut it again, you get 8. And that's how you just take good routes. Straight in, straight back, to the left, to the right, to the side.
The 1-2. High. Fly ball. Going to stay in the ballpark into left field where Guillen is waiting. He got under that one and hit it a mile high. 2 gone.
And what is Comcast telling us about the velocity that Edwin has touched today? I'm sure he's gotten there a couple of times. Edwin can pitch at 97 if he chose to do so. 83 would be a changeup. He throws his slider anywhere from 86 to 89 miles an hour.
Foutini, the lefty. Zach Miner, the righty. Randy Ruiz, the batter.
Ruiz has got some bat speed. You get him in this count and you try to throw a fastball by him, he's going to get a real good swing at it. He has demonstrated as much in the first 2 games here.
Popped him up. Shallow right. Thomas charging in. Polanco going back. And that'll do her. But they get a run back on the homer by Vernon Wells. Middle of the 6th. 6-4 now.
It's all about location. Rod Barajas wanted both of these balls away. That one ended up right down the middle. Avila in a fastball count connected for a 2-run shot. And then Cabrera got himself a hanging breaking ball, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good lower half, nice, firm, and strong, and he plays long ball. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So the Tigers up by 2 runs, 6-4. Come to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. Brandon Inge will start things off, and Ramon Santiago and Curtis Granderson. Tigers have 6 runs, 5 hits, 4 runs on 7 Blue Jays hits tonight. Tigers haven't had much luck against this Jays team. They lost 3 out of 4 to begin the season in Toronto, and then they fell last night. 2 more to go after this one. First pitch inside to Brandon Inge. Inge tonight, a walk and a fly ball. Here's the 1-1. High fly ball into center field and hit well. Wells on the run, still going back. He's going to get there. Man, oh man, he just glides to the spot, throws his glove out, and Inge is gone.
He's nice. I mean, nice. And Brandon does not hit a whole lot of balls in this direction, and that's why Vernon shading him on the shortstop side of the bag, but he's off at the crack of the bat and looked like a receiver running down the football for a touchdown. Makes it look
put out
so easy
for Vernon Wells out there in center. Here's Santiago. And just a little bit outside. 1-0 on Ramon, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Fly ball. And a strikeout. Carlson came on to close out the 5th, and now pitching here in the 6th, and that's rolled back up the middle for Scudero. Two gone. Now Curtis Granderson. Anderson led the game off with a home run in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 3 tonight. 6 times he's led off with a home run this season alone. Continues to be a different kind of season for Curtis. The Granderson average is lower than what we're typically used to seeing, but the home run numbers are much higher. Randy got in on the hands that time, and he rolls out. And an 8-pitch inning for Carlson. Tigers go quickly, and we go to the 7th.
And as we check out what else is going on in the Central, Oakland beat Minnesota today 4-2. Chicago scored in the 10th and beat the Angels in Anaheim 4-3. So the Tigers now watching Chicago jump into second place.
Hottest team in the AL Central right now is the Kansas City Royals. They've won 5 games in a row.
Too little, too late. Edwin Jackson back out to the mound. And 6 innings of work under his belt. He's given up 4 runs. Travis Snyder will lead things off. He has fanned him twice in this game. Last time he got him to chase a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the letters.
Continues to throw fastballs at Snyder as well.
Here's the 0-1. Late on that fastball, and it's 0-2.
Until he catches up to one, he's going to get a steady diet of them. This one probably will be up there across his letters to see if he can get him to swing at it like he did his last time up.
Popped him up. Shallow left. Here comes Carlos. 1 gone.
Jackson's one of those guys that gets stronger as the game goes on. That last fastball, 98 miles an hour. Right around the letters, but Snyder was able to make some contact on this time.
Action in the bullpen. Sea Lion warming up.
Jackson's pitch count in pretty good shape. 89 total.
Joe Inglet had a single in the 5th inning, stole and scored. He was a September call up for the Blue Jays. This is his 3rd stint with Toronto this year. Had a nice year down in Las Vegas. 360 at AAA this season. 0-2. Looks like Edwin's got some family and friends in from down south.
Whole row. And Jackson family right behind home plate. They got some great seats. He had 22 family members in Florida as well from Alabama. A lot of support here tonight for Edwin.
Ooh, inside and high. Inglet taking his time getting into the batter's box. Jackson has 3 strikeouts, 2 double plays turned behind him as well. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Inglet is out of there. 2 gone, 4 strikeouts.
Edwin's mom.
Here's Scutero. Marco in the ballgame 1 for 3 with an RBI single. I know we talk about this a lot, but it's just got to be so tough for parents watching their kids in a big league game. I mean, you want to enjoy the game, but you're hoping things go so well.
I think moms have a little easier time at watching.
Think so?
Than the dads do.
Uh-oh. High fly, deep left, way back. Ian looks up. It's gone.
Jackson, for the most part, all game long has been throwing Scutero breaking balls, and the reason why is Scutero's a good fastball hitter. That time on the 1-0 pitch, Scutero somehow climbs the ladder and connects on a 97-mile-per-hour piece of cheese to hit it out of here. And the ball is flying out of Comerica Park this summer. This ball's at 97 miles an hour. And most right-handers don't climb the ladder this well, but Scutero able to do so, and I brought it up a couple of innings ago, is that when you get yourself in this type of count, when Jackson has fallen behind you 99% of the time, he's going to give you a fastball. He's just going to do it.
So now it's 6-5. That is the 6th home run hit in this game, 3 for each side.
just to finish that thought on moms and dads, at least that's what I've experienced. I have a tough time of watching my kids play, but my wife has no problem because if they strike out 3 times, it doesn't matter. If they get 3 hits, it doesn't matter.
Really?
She's just there to enjoy it and no stress whatsoever.
It's a great attitude.
You know me, I'm a dad. My son goes 0 for 1. I'm down the line trying to help him out. Just keep your head in there. You're dropping your back shoulder. You know what I mean?
Oh. Well, Mom trying to shake off that last home run. There's a strike.
But the boys can do no wrong.
2-1 on Aaron Hill, who's 0 for 3. The best RBI man has done nothing tonight. The rest of the team has picked him up. Swing and a miss. 2-2. That was pitch 99. This is pitch 100.
All the runs that Jackson has given up in this game, the home runs at least, he was behind in the count and he tried to throw fastballs by Barajas, Wells, and Scudero.
Ground ball left side. Inge has it there. That'll take care of the side. 2-out solo shot, though, has drawn them a little bit closer. Ron doesn't know what to think about this start tonight. Curtis Granderson with a leadoff home run in the first, and then the rookie got in the act.
Alex Avila got himself a fastball and a fastball count and hit it about 400 feet from home plate. And then it's Cabrera who came out early for some extra batting practice, wanted to work on balance, and he leaned on one, and he was able to trot for a 3-run home run.
Here's your Comerica Bank game summary. 6-5 Tigers holding on to the lead. Granderson has tied Lou Whitaker for leadoff home runs at 23. Avila, Barajas with 2-run homers each, and Cabrera right now has the go-ahead 3-run shot. It was his 29th, and the skipper's pacing right now. And I just wanted to shake the hands of Edwin Jackson, who may have his night over with right now. See if the Tigers can get some of these runs back here. Polanco leads it off in the 7th inning against a new Toronto pitcher. That would be Brandon League.
And Brandon's got a nice firm fastball. He throws from that low 3/4 arm slot, and his earned run average is very high, but you can see the power that he possesses in the right arm. 67 strikeouts and 65 innings pitched.
0-2.
And he likes body art too.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Carved up Polanco pretty good. One gone.
Filthy. What is this thing? Looked like a fork ball from a low 3/4 arm slot. It was wicked, whatever it was. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's going to show us the grip right now. Like so many guys that feature that pitch, they start with it in their glove and then they simply change it from that grip if they want to throw something differently than that. And the reason for that is it's a little easier to start this way versus trying to reach into your glove and get that grip for the fork ball. Hitters would know it's coming then if you're digging that aggressively into your glove. Ooh-wee.
0-2 on Carlos Guillen. Walked and scored a run in the fifth. In fact, he's walked a couple of times. Swings and misses. He struck him out. 6 pitches and 6 strikes for Brandon Lee.
And 3 of the 6 pitches that he has thrown have been this fork ball. The one to Polanco was really dancing, and this one dancing as well, but it was up in the strike zone, and that swing maybe a little too big for Carlos with 2 strikes, but when you get fooled, you will take a big swing like that.
Miguel Cabrera's 3-run homer in the 5th inning put the Tigers on top. Chopper left side. Encarnacion with the pick. Short hop pick, and he throws out Cabrera. Quick inning for Lee. 8 pitches. 6-5 score, Detroit.
The Blue Jays coverage begins just prior to the first pitch at 1 p.m. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire tomorrow afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports HD. The 2 youngsters, Ricky Romero and Ricky Porcello, both with 12 wins going at it tomorrow afternoon.
Ryan Rayburn is in the game. He's in left field. As we go to the 8th inning, and we have a new pitcher now. It's Brandon Lyon coming out of the Tigers bullpen to pitch the 8th. He will face Vernon Wells to lead it off. Wells, Overbay, and Barajas. Strike called on Vernon. Breaking ball on the ground, deep in the hole. Santiago, great play, but he's not going to be able to get Wells. Infield hit. Tying run is on. Vernon has his third hit tonight.
Had 3 last night too, didn't he?
2.
2 last night. It's a good series so far for Vernon.
Here's Overbay. Couple of ground balls to second base for Overbay. Ball 1.
And Brandon needs to make sure that he doesn't allow Wells to steal a base in this situation. When the Tigers got Brandon line, one of the first things that they had to do with him was quicken up his delivery from the stretch. And because he took way too much time getting the ball to the catcher.
He gets away from Avila. Wells picked it up too late, so he does not go.
To prevent base runners from stealing, a pitcher has to be anywhere from 1-1 to 1-3 in getting the ball to the catcher. When the Tigers got Brandon, he was anywhere from 1-5 to 1-6, which meant late in games where he pitched, he would give up some stolen bases. You want to keep this double play in order.
Well, it was about mid-May in which Lions numbers took a U-turn north. Since May 20th, opponents batting just 125 against him.
Because of that last pitch that he threw to Overbay, that cut fastball.
Two and two. Just outside, run it full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. With Vernon Wells at first base, nobody out. Rod Barajas waiting on deck. He walked him, ball 4, and the first 2 Blue Jays have reached. Infield hit and a walk, second walk of the night for Overbay. Jackson departed with a 1-run Tigers lead. Here comes Barajas. We'll see what his thought process is here. Barajas has hit a 2-run homer. He has singled.
The Tigers are not expecting bunt, that much is for sure.
And he's swinging away. Foul, first base side, chance for Cabrera. Nice play. Runner will tag at second. Wells alertly gets to third.
He might have left too soon.
Cabrera against the railing, hauled that one in. We'll see if the Tigers appeal here.
They may as well take a look at it. Either he left too soon or he got a real nice jump. Because it looked like as soon as this ball was getting ready to land into Cabrera's glove, Vernon was off and running. Do not hurt yourself, big fella. It's a nice play. And good heads-up base running by Vernon.
Tying run just 90 feet away in a 6-5 game. There's Encarnacion. 0-1. 0 for 3 for Edwin Encarnacion. Jays tonight about hit the Tigers 9-5, but it's Detroit with the lead courtesy of 3 home runs.
Surprisingly enough, that move right there will work once or twice a year. If you sell it a little bit better than that.
Rolled foul 0-2.
Trying to think of who had a really good move. I think it was Scott Sanders who pitched for the Cubs. He used to sell that fake to third and back to first move about as well as any right-hander I've seen in recent memory. He actually used to get quite a few pickoffs with that move.
He must be one of the few guys.
Oh, it works once or twice a year. If you do it enough, you'll catch some guys that are sleeping at first base. It worked once this year against us.
Sure did. Forgot who that was, though. Here's the 0-2. Way over his head, ducking out of the way. Encarnacion watched that thing sail over his helmet.
And now if you're lying, you can simply come right back with that real good cut fastball, or you could even go 4-seam variety as long as you throw it on the outside corner. They're going cutter.
It's going to get away from Avila. Tie ball game. Wells comes in to score on a wild pitch, and it's 6-6. Blue Jays come back from a 3-run deficit. They've tied it up.
Well, Avila gets over there. He anticipates, but the ball just kind of rolls up his arm. And nothing they could do. You got more work to do offensively, that's all.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Taking second on that play is Overbay. Fouled away. A run in the 5th, a run in the 6th, a run in the 7th, and now a run in the 8th for Toronto. Rolled foul. Inning started with the infield hit by Wells, then a walk to Overbay. A pop up by Barajas. Moved the runner to third, and a wild pitch scored him. Two and two on Edwin Encarnacion. Got him. Strike 3. Encarnacion caught looking. 2 outs. First strikeout for Brandon Lyon. Here's Randy Ruiz. Hacking at the first pitch, and he fouls it straight back. Lyon challenged him with a fastball. Ruiz is 1 for 3, has a single. And a couple of hits last night, including a home run. Right back to the mound. And Lyon will throw out Ruiz to retire the side, but they tie it up. They get a run. You're watching Tigers baseball at Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tires. Standing the test of time since 1849. Another big crowd here at Comerica Park tonight, and they are watching a dandy. It is a 6-6 game. The Blue Jays have come back from a 6-3 deficit to tie it up. One in the 6th, one in the 7th, one in the 8th. Here's Aubrey Huff. He is leading things off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brandon League is back out there for his 2nd inning of work. He had an easy 8-pitch 7th. Inside and low, and the count goes to 3-0 on Aubrey Huff.
It'd be nice to see Aubrey get on, because someone will pinch run for him.
Lee Thomas will be next, and then Alex Avila. And there's ball 4. No, it's a strike.
Wow.
Huff's wondering where in the world that was, shaking his head.
It didn't look. Oh, that's terrible.
Just yanked it back in there.
Wow.
Fly ball. Left field hit pretty well. Snyder has room.
Huff not happy. He had ball 4.
One gone. That's 4 straight retired by Brandon League. Thomas on base 3 times. 2 walks and a single.
That fork ball, and he actually throws it like it's a changeup. It's a changeup for him. Yeah, but it's been a really good pitch for him today against the left-handers.
Thomas over the top, and it's 0-2. Slowly toward first base. Fair ball. League will cover. 2 gone.
Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Detroit Tigers. You can browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear. You can get t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, caps. Well, you can get just about anything at the team shop at tigers.com shop.
Avila has a home run to his credit tonight. 2-run shot back in the second. 1 of 3 hit by the Tigers tonight. Granderson has 1, Avila has 1, and Cabrera has the other. Checked it. Did he go? Well, Mark Wegner said he did. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Back in the second inning, Avila gave the Tigers a lead with a 2-run home run.
That home run was his 5th of the year. Two-one pitch. On the ground to second base. Well, Brandon League had an easy time of it tonight. 6 up and 6 down. Well, we go to the 9th inning. Fernando Rodney coming into this game. 6-6. The 1 runs in each of the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th innings for the Blue Jays. And they've come back late to tie this one up. And as we go to the 9th inning, in front of a crowd of more than 36,000, the closer is out now, Fernando Rodney.
Well, there would be no save in this game with the Tigers being tied here in the top half of the 9th inning. So Jim brings his closer on for 1, maybe 2 innings, depending on how long this game goes.
Gerald Laird, meanwhile, takes over for Alex Avila. Or Avila. Here's Travis Snyder to lead it off. Snyder, Inglet, and Scudero facing Fernando Rodney. 0 for 3 tonight for Travis Snyder. Bouncing ball to third. Inge. Sprawling play. Got it. That was nice.
He's got quick feet. He's got shortstop feet, and he's playing third base. He's always on the balls of his feet when the ball gets in the hitting zone, which means you can move laterally left or right. And if you have to leave your feet, Brandon has the ability to go down and get back up rather quickly with his athleticism.
Here's Joe Inglet. Inglet got on base in the 5th inning. Stole a base and scored a run. Popped up foul back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Showing bunt. 2-1. Tigers in the bottom of the 9th have Inge, Santiago, and Granderson all due up. Two on Inglet. Rick Reed has been calling that pitch all night long. That high strike, and he gave Rodney one there. Lifted in the air, shallow left center. Rayburn coming on. 2 gone for Marco Scutaro. Plenty of action in their bullpen. Scott Downs, the lefty. Jason Frazier, the righty. Scutaro homered in the 7th. Took Jackson deep, one of the 3 home runs that Edwin gave up tonight. A couple of RBIs for Scutaro. One and one.
And very seldom will you see movement with a pitch that's thrown in the high 90s, but that ball had a little tailing action to it.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Marco Scutaro. Tigers tonight have been out hit 9-5. Detroit has not had a hit since the 5th inning. In fact, their last hit was the 3-run homer by Cabrera. Here's the 2-2. Full count on Scutaro. That'll go foul, third base side. Scutaro now has 59 RBIs with his 2 here tonight. He's been on base 5 times in the series. Trying to get something jump started here in the 9th in a 6-6 game. Here comes the fastball on 3-2. And it's lined to right field, sinking, and a base hit. Third hit of the game for Marco Scutaro. A 2-out single. An update on our player of the game voting. 30% right now for Curtis Granderson. Cabrera 22%, and Alex Avila 20%. All three have homered in this game tonight. If you still vote, text Tigers followed by a space to 37338. Final results post game on Tigers Live. Aaron Hill will get a 2-out chance. Strike one. 99 miles an hour. Runner going. Here comes a throw from Laird. And a stolen base for Scutaro.
Laird usually doesn't rush. Yeah, but that time he did rush because Scutaro had such a great jump and that he really had no chance at getting him. And when he transferred the ball to the throwing hand, it didn't appear that he had a good grab on it, good grasp, but because very seldom will you see him throw balls to the second base side of second base.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike, and now the Jays a base hit away from regaining the lead.
It's one of the reasons why Jim put Laird into the ball game with Rodney, because Laird, of course, has thrown tremendously all season long, and Rodney's one that will give up some stolen bases.
Scutaro swiped his 13th. Inside again, 3-1, and that's going to bring Laird out to the mound. Vernon Wells is waiting his turn should Hill reach, and all he's done is go 5 for 7 in the series. 3-1 on Aaron Hill. Driven deep in the air down the left field line, way back to the corner it goes, and it's gone. A 2-out, 2-run homer for Aaron Hill. His 32nd of the year. And what seemed like a quiet inning for Rodney has turned into a 2-run frame for the Jays.
3 balls and 1 strike. Most hitters would sit on a fastball, but Hill knew what Rodney's best pitch was. He sat on the changeup. He got the changeup, but more importantly, he didn't miss it. And that's why Hill is having a career year offensively. A lot of things have gone right for him.
8-6 Blue Jays.
7 home runs in this game.
And Vernon Wells, who has one of those, is standing in. He's 3 for 4. Oh, 2. Hill's first hit of the game. He was 0 for 4 until that swing. Way high. How about the Jays' top 3 hitters tonight? 7 for 14 combined. Scutaro, Hill, and Wells. 3 hits each for Scutaro and Wells. Here's the 1-2. Once again, the Tigers in the 9th inning have inched to lead off. Santiago due up and Curtis Granderson. Wells came into this series having a subpar year. We talked last night about the fact that despite what he has done in his career in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, they were starting to boo him this year at Rogers Center. He's gotten back on track in this series, that's for sure. Another ball inside, 3-2. Overbay would be next. 8-6 Toronto and the 2-run homer by Aaron Hill. And he walked him. First two men were retired, then a single, a steal, a homer, and now a walk. Fans getting a little restless here. Here comes Leland. Looks like he'll go to the pen. So Futeni is coming in to face the lefty Overbay if he bats. And while they make that change, we'll be back. Tigers have gone to the bullpen, and including tonight, their last 5 games, the Tigers bullpen has just been roughed up, and a big part of the problem, the walks. 11 of them. So it'll be Futeni to try and get Overbay here with 2 outs. Overbay has walked twice. The numbers on Futeni. Really got him picked off. Cabrera running him towards second base. Santiago back the other way, and they'll make the tag. Wells picked off by Futeni. Didn't even throw a pitch. And the Tigers need 2 to tie here. Keep this thing going. And Scott Downs is on now for Toronto.
45th game that Downs has been in. He has 9 saves and 12 chances. Outstanding earned run average under 3. 41 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 44 innings in the league, hitting just .246 against Downs.
It'll be Brandon Inge to lead it off. With a defensive change as well, Jose Bautista is in right field for Joe Inglet. Maglio has gone to the on-deck circle. So it'll be Inge, Ordonez, and Granderson.
And right-handed batters, no problem for Downs. They're only hitting .237 against him, where left-handers are hitting a little bit higher against the left-hander.
0 for 2, a base on balls tonight for Brandon. First pitch low and inside, 1-0.
Frazier had been closing the majority of their games lately, and may still close this one out before it's all said and done.
Inge has faced Downs 3 times, 0 for 3 with a strikeout career against him, but he's falling behind 2-0. Strike call to the outside corner, 2-1 on Inge. Tigers need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. There's Ordonez waiting on deck. Right back up the middle into center. Leadoff man is on. Good way to get it started. First hit of the night for Brandon. Now the tying run coming up. Maglio Ordonez pinch hitting. Ordonez this year 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Down stays away, 1-0. Numbers on Maglio this year. He's up to 290 now. Had a couple of hits in the ball game last night. Bounce foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, come on, Maglio. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Downs taking over for League, who faced 6 batters, retired all of them. 1, 2, 3, 7th and 8th. Maglio ties one. Foul. Yank that thing down the left field line. 2-2.
And Maglio hadn't turned on many like that this year.
checked it. Oh, he went around. Chet Kellogg called him out. Ordonez can't believe it.
Tough to tell from up here, but you get a better look from the side. I don't know. Could have went. Baraja sold that very well, though. As soon as he caught that ball, he came up pointing down toward Kellogg, and he got the call.
Here comes Granderson. Big strikeout there for Downs. Now lefty. Curtis homered in the first. 1 for 4 tonight. To the no. 36,142, hoping for a Tigers comeback here in the 9th inning. And Granderson ahead in the count. In the air, center field. Over there is Vernon Wells. 2 gone. So that will leave it up to Placido Polanco. But he's not going to face the left-hander. Cito Gaston has made the signal to the bullpen. Downs, after giving up the single, comes back to get Ordonez on the strikeout. Granderson on the fly ball, and he will depart as they go right back to the pen.
Been tremendous for Cito Gaston, and his numbers overall not that bad. 2.15 earned run average, 49 strikeouts for Frazier, and he's only given up 3 home runs. Good numbers.
Well, he's going to have to face one of the toughest Tigers hitters, and that would be Placido Polanco. With the tying run at first base, Inge led the inning off with a single. He's still standing there with 2 outs. And the Tigers faithful hoping for some 2-out magic here. As we told you, 36,142 your attendance tonight. He's not giving up, neither are they. Here we go. Here comes Polanco. Placido tonight with a single, infield hit and a run scored. He's 1 for 4. Frazier misses outside, 1-0. Strike call. Off of the right hand goes Rick Reed. 1-1 on Polanco.
Looked like it may have been high enough.
Sliced back second and caught on a dive and dropped by Hill. Inge goes to third and he's in there standing up. Within inches of ending the game, Hill could not hang on.
Looked like he had the ball in his glove, but when he hit the turf, the ball bounced out. Good heads up base running by Brandon. Did not quit running. Continued to run all the way over to third base, and it looked like he lost his breath here. Had it in his glove, hit the ground. Actually didn't really have it in his glove. On the heel of his glove, looked like, from that first angle.
So Polanco keeps it going with his second hit of the game. Tigers have the tying runs aboard now, and here is Ryan Rayburn. And the crowd's suddenly back in it. Rayburn had a couple of hits last night. Cabrera lurking. Two on and two out. Ball one on Rayburn. Straight back. Ryan had a rip. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, 1-0. You know you're going to get that fastball from Frazier, and he got one. Ravens just kind of simplified things lately since he kind of just started laying that bat on his shoulder before the pitch comes, and nice and relaxed. He's been doing a lot of damage. Just kind of relaxes right now and just kind of lifts it off when the pitcher gets ready to do what he does. And because of this new approach, his numbers have been off the chart lately.
1-2 strikes on Rayburn.
It's amazing how simplifying something and just kind of slowing everything down can allow you to take off and swing the bat the way that Rayburn has been swinging the bat for about a month now.
373 over his last 37 games. But Frazier has him behind in the count, 1-2. All the way.
He spoiled a really good pitch there. 94 on the outside black. And that Rayburn just somehow got a piece of. You can't locate a fastball any better than that with 2 strikes. And as a hitter, really all you have to try to do is foul that off, because you're not going to do any damage whatsoever with that pitch.
Rayburn not getting cheated. 1-2 the count. Tigers tonight have been out hit 11-7. Detroit has hit 3 home runs in this game. The Jays have hit 4. Avila has gone deep. Aaron Hill's home run is the difference, though. Cabrera waiting on deck. He's gone deep along with Grandy. Barajas able to smother it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Polanco going nowhere. He stays at first. Tigers have turned this into a nail biter here in the 9th with a couple of runners. Frazier ready with the 2-2. Here it is. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the Tigers will fall short in this one here tonight. Despite 3 home runs, the Blue Jays hit 4 and they win. Right now we check in with Ryan Field with a preview.